stop, put that scoop down before you brew another pot, because the big ground coffee test of 2026 is here, and what we found on the back of these bags is a genuine scandal. Hit subscribe and ring the bell so the algorithm spreads this truth across the country. This is our fight against the marketing giants, and we're just getting started, because a brand sitting in almost every American kitchen cabinet just failed catastrophically. Not scored a little low. Failed, and we're not naming it yet, because when you see how far it falls, you'll understand why we made you wait. I'd bet money one of these cans is sitting in your pantry right now. That's the part that stings. Every morning you scoop it, you brew it, you trust it, and every stale, over-roasted cup is dumping oxidized oils and acrylamide straight into your gut and your liver. Acrylamide. That's the compound that forms when cheap beans get scorched too hot for too long, the same stuff regulators watch for in burnt toast and fried snacks. You're not drinking coffee. You're drinking the aftermath of a factory cutting corners. Now stay with me, because two things are waiting at the finish line. First, the hidden hero, a budget bag that came out cleaner and cheaper than every famous name on this list. And second, a 60-second kitchen check. One glass of water that tells you instantly whether the coffee in your cabinet is fresh or a stale ripoff. Stay with us to the very end, because the hidden hero and the 60-second kitchen check are both waiting there. Here's the plan. We're tearing apart 11 of the most popular ground coffee brands on American shelves, ranked from rank 11 all the way down to number 1. Worst to best, no mercy, the big names first. But before the countdown, one trick you have to understand, because it's the whole game. It's called volume roasting. The big producers buy the cheapest, lowest grade Robusta beans they can find. Bitter, defective, full of flavor faults, and they scorch them black. Why black? Because black hides everything. A charred bean has no origin, no character, no evidence. Then they pad the tin with those burnt grounds and sell it to you by the ounce. You're paying for filler. And there's one single word that separates real coffee from that padding. Arabica. Say it on the label and you're telling me there's actual quality in that bag. Won't say it, then it's hiding something. Remember that word. It's about to decide who lives and who dies on this list. So let's start where it hurts. Rank 11, Folgers Classic Roast. The big red tub, $8.98, sitting in more American kitchens than any other coffee on earth. A 2024 Clean Label Project screening flagged cadmium traces in mass market ground coffee. Cadmium, a heavy metal your kidneys never forget, and flip that tub over. Go on. No origin, no roast date, no Arabica. Just 2 words, ground coffee. That's it. That's the whole confession. Dead boiled beans wearing a coffee costume. For us, based on the data in front of us, that's a clear stay away. Rank 10, Maxwell House, $7.49. Crack the lid and you get it immediately, that flat, dull cardboard smell. That's the smell of rancid, oxidized oils, coffee that's been sitting so long the fat inside the grounds has gone off. Owned by Kraft Heinz, roasted for shelf life, not for your cup. It's built to survive a warehouse, not to taste like anything. Same verdict, stay away. 2 market leaders, 2 of the most trusted names in America, and both of them just hit the floor of our list. But here's the thing. Out of the 10, nobody suspects is still coming. Next, we drop into the murky midfield, chock full of nuts, Yuban, Cafe Bustelo, 3 names you grew up with, and each one flips over to a red flag on the back of the bag. And then a name you'd swear is premium hits the list. A green and white icon you'd never expect to see this low. So into the murky middle we go. And first up, rank 9, chock full of nuts. $7.99 for the red can your grandparents swore by. Consumer Reports put it under the lens in 2024, and the panel dropped it near the bottom of its price bracket for aroma and freshness. Flip the package over. Right there is the detail no coffee lover wants to read. No origin, no harvest, and not the one word that matters most in this entire test. No Arabica. Just two flat words, ground coffee, and a wall of silence about what's really in that tin. In the cup, burnt and hollow, like someone toasted sawdust and called it breakfast. Based on the data in front of me, this one is a clear stay away. Rank 8, Yuban, 849, and it sells itself as the rich, smooth one. The reality, unfortunately, looks very different. Consumer Reports flagged it for going stale straight out of a sealed bag, oxidized before you ever break the vacuum, over-roasted, flat, and padded, so you're paying by the ounce for filler that quit having flavor months ago. Flip it over, and then again, the roast date is nowhere. No date, no origin, no Arabica. One of you left us a line I keep coming back to. It smells like the inside of an old thermos. A brand that won't tell you when it was roasted is a brand betting you'll never ask. Stay away. Rank 7, Cafe Bustelo. $6.99 for that bright yellow brick everyone swears is the authentic cheap pick. That intense punch-you-in-the-mouth dark roast? It isn't craftsmanship, folks. It's a mask. You scorch cheap, low-grade beans black as coal, and the char buries every defect underneath. Consumer Reports testers pegged it bitter and one note. And here's what nobody tells you. The harder you roast, the more acrylamide you build. That's the compound that forms when starch burns. The one that quietly makes your morning ritual a little more toxic with every overcooked batch. For me, another stay away. And now the one you've been bracing for, rank 6. Starbucks Ground, $10.99. The most expensive loser on this entire board. Let that land for a second. You're paying for the mermaid, not the bean. Take that $10.99, subtract the green logo, the marketing, the store margin. What's left for the actual coffee? Beans roasted to ash to hide cheap, inconsistent sourcing, burnt on purpose so every bag tastes the same shade of scorched. Consumer Reports has knocked their packaged grounds for that flat, over-roasted bite for years. $10.99 for a taste of campfire. My verdict, stay away. And if the acrylamide in a scorched roast just rattled you, hold on to that feeling, because wait till you see what we found in the olive oil that isn't even olive oil. That check is waiting for you next, and honestly, it's uglier than this one. But right here, at the top 5 border, everything flips. Now hold on tight. Forget everything you thought you knew about cheap store brands. Because the next bag we pulled, a plain store brand, half the price of that mermaid can, flipped over and did something not a single famous name above it managed. Right there on the back, printed clean and proud, the word Arabica, and beside it, stamped in real ink, an actual roast date, a day, a month. Proof a human being roasted this batch and wasn't ashamed to tell you when. If you want us to keep testing uncensored, hit that like button and subscribe so the algorithm spreads this truth across the country. This is our fight against the marketing giants. Because that first store brand surprise was only the doorway. It cracks open the Champions League, the top 3, and 2 more bags are still hidden above it, each one cleaner and cheaper than the famous names that just crashed. And the one we crown number 1 costs less than a third of what you've been handing over, a bag you've walked past 100 times without a second glance. 2 more bags still sitting up here, hidden above that first store brand surprise. And both of them cost less than the famous names that just crashed and burned in front of you. Let's crack them open. Rank 3, Kroger's Private Selection, $6.49. Now flip it over. And there it is. The word we've been hunting this whole list, Arabica, printed right on the front, no hiding, no shame. And look at the bottom of the bag, a roast date, an actual, honest, stamped roast date telling you when these beans met the fire, not a Best Buy fantasy 2 years out, a roast date. That one little stamp is the difference between coffee and cardboard. Consumer Reports 2024 cupping panel put Kroger's House line well ahead of the national brands on freshness and clean flavor, and to my palate, it shows. This is a genuine step up. Verdict, safe to buy, rank 2, Trader Joe's, $5.99. Cheaper than the bag we just praised, and somehow cleaner. Single origin. That means the beans in this bag came from one place, one harvest, not swept off the factory floor of 9 different countries and cooked dead together. The label tells you where. The roast date's right there too. No filler, no scorch, no marketing fog. Honest coffee at a fair price. For us, that's a well-earned near winner. Verdict, safe to buy. And if this were most lists, it'd take the crown. But it doesn't. Because there's one bag left, and I already know what you're thinking. How much cheaper can it possibly get? How much better? So let me just say it. And the bag that beats every luxury name on this list, it costs $4.19, $4.19. Rank 1, Aldi's Barissimo. The bag you've walked past 100 times, eyes sliding right over it toward the Folgers tub and the Starbucks logo, because surely the cheap one is the compromise. It isn't. Flip it over. Certified Arabica. The real word, earned. A fresh roast date stamped clean on the bottom. No cadmium flags, no rancid cardboard smell, no over-roasted ash pretending to be flavor, no filler, no scorch, just coffee. $4.19. Cleaner than a $10.99 bag with a mermaid on it. Cleaner, fairer, cheaper than every trusted name that crashed at the bottom of this list. That, folks, is our test winner. And it proves the whole ugly point. You were never paying for the coffee. You were paying for the name. Now, as promised at the very start, your 60-second kitchen check. You don't need me. You don't need a lab. You need a glass and cold water. Take a spoonful of whatever's in your cabinet right now and drop it into a glass of cold water. Fresh coffee floats. It sits on top and blooms, releasing little threads of color as the oils are still alive. Stale, over-roasted filler. It sinks straight down, and it clouds the water gray within seconds. Dead grounds don't float. They drown. That's it. That's the whole test the industry hoped you'd never learn. Do it with the bag you trust most, especially that one. Try it tonight and write your result in the comments. I'll check your brands. Tell me if yours floated or sank. I read them. And remember this, because it's the whole reason we sit here and tear these bags apart. There's no such thing as cheap coffee. You pay at the register, or you pay with your health, with a flat, lifeless cup, and what those oxidized oils and that acrylamide leave behind in your gut and your liver. One stale scoop at a time, one or the other, every single time. The $4.19 bag isn't the cheap choice. It's the honest one. So, which brand is in your pantry? Are you switching? Drop it below, confess it, no judgment. And do one thing for me. Send this to the friend who still swears by the expensive can, the one who'd fight you over their Folgers. They need to see the back of that bag. Next check, we're going after the olive oil that isn't olive oil. The bottle's labeled extra virgin that never saw an olive the way you think. You won't pour it the same again. Until then, stay sharp, stay healthy. See you at the next check.